Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some pretty big news when it comes to Sony's financials, and the next upcoming really big things coming to the PlayStation 5 when it comes to actual investing, when it comes to throwing out some big money, and as well also in the big talks of acquisitions. So as you guys do know, I'm sure everyone knows, I talk about all the time, of the big Xbox acquisitions of Activision, and well, Sony obviously is a big company with them having TVs, cameras, movies, music, and everything else in between, where they also do, believe it or not, also have some big daddy money to be thrown around when it comes to buying companies, buying businesses, and as well expanding out the gaming roster. And we actually had some pretty cool news coming out over here from like the big financial talks and all the big stock buybacks and everything else that's coming out from Sony. So to go talk about that as of right now, and of course just talk about the general, state of gaming when it comes to big studios. So give me your thoughts and comments about the videos we go talk about as well. Make sure you guys are subscribed, notifications on Twitter, Twitch, stream down below if you guys want to follow. Amazon links for the good old hookups, all the consoles up on sale too. And let's talk about the future of old PlayStation. And as well, it's kind of actually having kind of good things, especially for gamers as a whole. So as I mentioned, we have a lot of big acquisition talk going on. People want to spend money, invest money, and of course, in typical business fashion, go and expand out their horizons. You want to make your business better. You want to reinvest profits. And that's kind of what Sony's up for right now. So Sony right now is eyeing up financing unit listings. They're going to be doubling down on entertainment, putting a lot more money and investments into gaming and gaming as a whole, and also other outside hardwares, and as well, it's kind of cool to go and see. So basically the big highlights for all this one is Sony took full control of their financial arm just 3 years ago. Good news. Sony is looking at retaining stake at likely less than 20%. And then Sony is investing in entertainment, image sensor businesses, and as well going to do a little bit more of a side talk besides just the pure boring financials as well. So basically for in Tokyo too, Sony Group on Thursday said it was examining a partial spin-off of its financial businesses just 3 years after taking full control as the conglomerate doubles down on entertainment and image sensors. So basically Sony is considering a time frame of 2 or 3 years to spin off Sony Financial Group, whose operations include life insurance and banking, funny enough, with an eye to listing the business and retaining a stake of slightly under 20%. So basically, they want to try the best to go to kind of dip it out, and they want to go and sell and kind of liquidate a little bit of portion of this company to then also go and grow the other aspects of the company too as well, which would also be investing to things like PlayStation or game acquisitions and everything else in between. So given the capital the business requires, it's a challenge to balance this with their investment in other growth areas such as entertainment. So think games like consoles or movies, etc., and image sensors, which I'm still not fully entirely sure on when that comes into, because don't forget they have cameras, they have TVs, they also have VR, etc., etc. This is what Sony's chief financial officer Hiroki Totoki said in a strategy briefing. The conglomerate is pursuing synergies between its business lines, which include video games, so once again we're going to talk about acquisitions, music and movies, and it said hit drama The Last of Us on television network HBO drove uptake on the game franchise, which is based on and also the music used. So don't forget, a company like Sony could basically go reutilize their own catalog of sounds and music and almost kind of go and have HBO do a forced contract of hey, we'll give you the IPs of Last of Us, but you may have to go spend money on having specific music rights, and as well maybe have to go have also profit share rights, etc., etc. So a partial spinoff of the Sony Financial, which the group said it was made possible by changes in tax rules, would allow the newly listed business to retain the Sony branding as well. So, it doesn't change anything drastically in the terms of outlook for Sony, but it does make it more pure play entertainment company, which the market generally likes, said Mio Kato, an analyst at Lightstream Research, who also publishes a Smart Karma. So basically, in my mind, I'd probably go and say that if there's a pure company and based entirely on when it comes to things like movies, as you guys know, we've seen Uncharted, we've seen Last of Us, we're hearing rumors about the God of War TV show. I would invest in this myself. It basically kind of seems like Sony wants to go and kind of prioritize, once again, pushing these kind of bigger media outlets. So when it comes to acquisitions, which I want to talk about a lot over here, is that they want to go and try their best to go buy out more additional companies in the video game sector, whether they're publishers and developers, so think just companies that make games and sell games and try to get some exclusive rights, or try to do more mergers too as well, kind of basically, include up a company, and then maybe also give them out a bunch of Sony stock. So let's say you want to have this is not a confirmed thing, but say Square Enix, and then basically hey, we'll give you $500 million in Sony stock for you to go merge with our company, become part of Sony. We get a bit of buyout. That was kind of nice. You get more funding, etc., etc. So basically, the finance business reported a 5% fall, though, in revenue from basically $10 million in the year of March. And operating profit rose, though, 49% as well, helped by a one-off gain from a real estate sale, surprisingly enough. So as you kind of go and see over here for the financial services from Sony, you guys can see that they have the imaging and sensing solutions, and as well as music has been popping on off. Their profits on music has been insane. So obviously they want to go and reinvest into that if they can. Although Entertainment, technology, and services and game and network services also actually turned down a lot when it turned down to over operating profit. It was very intriguing to go and see for the overall numbers, but it also kind of just goes and showcases how much like the financial side on music, etc., is such a big take. So in the current financial year, Sony expects a 40% drop in revenue at the unit due to the accounting change, and then a 20% drop in profit due to the absence of layers prior one-off games too as well. So basically, we kind of see a lot of big information too when it comes to this stuff, where they're making good money. Like they're doing a lot of sales when it comes to PlayStation 5 consoles, and as well been hitting some really big records too on top of that. But there's also been a slide potentially in first-party sales, which also would make sense throughout this year, because we don't really have anything super major with God of War, Horizon, and all the other various games coming out as of last year. Sony's see what a Marvel Spider-Man is among games coming out for this year, and that'll probably have a really good sale too, and probably will bump up their stuff too as well. And apparently also too on top of that has also already sold over 10 million units for The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom for one of the really big Nintendo competitors, aka, I'm sure you guys know, it's just a big competitor for that one. So either way, we still can kind of go and see competition-wise that Sony still has a good chance, but they also want to keep on trying to raise more equity funding. That they want to try to get more actual liquid money to then go and reinvest more once again into these really big buyouts. We don't necessarily still fully know exactly where, when, what, and how, but we also saw Sony kind of do a internal liquidation of companies where they actually shut down pretty much one big publishing unit. We covered this on the channel before, but as well as also went and also did a big layoff too as well, which I would say typically is a good sign when it comes to movement, when it comes to deals, when it comes to profitability, and as well if they're trying to go and liquidate out and kind of more do a more of a funding raise to build up and like sell out the equity, they probably will have a lot more extra money to then go and divert and invest into bigger companies, which kind of once again pushes really big stuff to the PlayStation. The PlayStation itself, if they have an extra few, like let's say few $1 billion to go buy out some companies. A lot of folks had the rumors of them maybe doing working deals with Square Enix, Ubisoft, or even potentially EA if they were able to go and fundraise enough money. And as well with all GTA 6 leaks, there's also even more rumors when it comes to them trying to do like a buyout or type of like proper like exclusivity clause, or same thing with other things with Konami. Now, once again, we don't necessarily fully know, but we do know that Sony did go and buy out Bungie, which we'll talk about in a second, which did actually go and put a lot more like extra marketing, promotion, and kind of business deals into that whole ecosystem. And we've also been seeing a lot more stuff as well, even in the Financial Times, where Sony's basically trying their best to go and list and get more of these spin-offs and try to get this listing, as we mentioned, for this financial services, although I am paying, the money for over here for Financial Times, but it kind of goes to show that they want to get these funding rounds to go and work on more acquisitions. They want to go make these IPs and have them go and grow even more. And on top of this, too, we're kind of seeing this big growth when it comes to movies, when it comes to extra games and IPs, and that's why I think all these big video game companies are doing great. Mario movie was doing fantastic. Last was doing awesome. And sadly, the Halo show didn't really do that well, but I mean, it was up there too in the first place. So they really are going to go and bump up their acquisitions. They want to spend a lot more money when it comes to this one too, because all these big companies like Sony, etc., want to push on this one. So basically, Microsoft did the big purchase of ZeniMax Media. They also want to try to do the Activision Blizzard, as you guys know, and Sony's also ramming up too on top of that. So basically, Sony Hiroki Satoki spoke about the necessities of these partial spin-offs to raise the money, as we mentioned over here too, to make long-term investments in these two particular areas. So they can make a brand new subsidiary, they can give a portion of their shares to existing shareholders, and basically allows the parent company to unlock more also secondary companies and businesses. So if you guys want to buy some Sony stock, you have a chance to get a split in this brand new company due to the actual split in the company itself. So basically, want to once again focus on the image sensors and entertainment businesses, and also they're going to have a lot more of the various things when it comes to video games. So it may not necessarily have a big chance for it to go through in case they don't want to avoid it, but they also still want to go put a lot more money into other various things, such as like we said with Bungie, and there's still like the options are limitless, because we see things like Bungie over here too, where we see that PlayStation now goes and puts all these PS5 and PS4 themed items specifically in the Destiny 2 store from PlayStation deals. It's kind of like a nice extra perk of these companies buy out other companies as well, because they have the marketing, they own the IPs, and if there's their technical company, they can interchange the stuff into games themselves. So basically over here, they have this $3.6 billion purchase. They now have new things in the Eververse store on the iconic PlayStation franchise. So if you want to turn Titan Hunter into Kratos from God of War, Horizon's Aloy, or also Jin Sakai from Ghost of Tsushima, now is your chance with these really cool updates. It's kind of just a nice potential too of what they can do if they have all this extra few billions of dollars to invest. So as revealed in the image below, new armor sets are on their way to the Destiny 2 in-game store. So you just want to check that stuff on out. They have markings that basically look like Kratos. You guys can see like the forehead and God of War style. They have the alloy style. They have the samurai type style. And it looks really cool. Like I do want to say it actually has a very, very nice, cool vibe as well. And they also had a little cool thing for Last of Us. So it's kind of cool. Like we're seeing that Sony's going to be investing a lot more money into these huge acquisitions and deals and buyouts. And as well, it's just very nice to go and see the potential for gaming as a whole, also for movies and TV shows and everything else, and everything's kind of going pretty good. So I don't know, it might be even worth time to go buy some Sony stock. So make sure you guys are subscribed. Give me your thoughts and comments down below. What if I got a word splurge of a video, but whatever. We have the Twitter and Twitch room down below, all the Amazon links too, and I appreciate y'all so much for watching. Give me your likes and thoughts and comments down below, and I love you guys.